I stand before you today a very proud member of the Clanmill team, because that's what it is. It's a team effort in order that we can make an impact on communities. And this morning, Jenny has asked me to give a view, tell you a wee bit about the development activity by Clanmill Housing Association and why we want to continue to develop. To talk a wee bit about what I perceive as the challenges in the system that are preventing us from currently delivering, to be able to address the call that the ministers put to us to do more, to offer a perspective on how we may overcome those challenges, to highlight some of the initiatives that we could do to address the 5 themes in the Minister's housing strategy, and also to give my perspective and my view on what housing-led regeneration can do for communities, and then Fraser obviously can give you the practical examples of what's happening in Scotland. So the usual stuff, a wee bit about Clanmill. Some of you will be very familiar with that. Some in the audience may not know who Clanmill is. Clanmill is a registered housing association with charitable status. We were established in 1977. Our mission is to be a leading provider of high-quality homes for rent throughout Northern Ireland. We currently have 3,500 units in management. The Clanmill Group includes both Clanmill Housing Association and a number of other companies, which you see here. We have 220 staff and an annual turnover of £16 million. But I suppose Clanmill, like many of you in the room today, we're not property development companies. It's not about bricks and mortar, because if it was, it would just be about numbers, and how many more numbers can we provide? We're a housing association. We want to build great homes with services that matter, because we have a desire to create safe and sustainable places where people want to live and raise their families. We want to build to high environmental standards that have an impact on protecting the environment for our future generations, but also reducing fuel poverty and the rising escalating costs associated with energy for our tenants who, from a financial exclusion point of view, are the most marginalised. We also want to work with local communities and elected representatives, and we want to provide a range of housing solutions for all that need a home, because we believe that good homes provide a strong sense of belonging and neighbourliness. It can and will promote a safe, settled and positive environment. And shared future housing can offer a route to an inclusive and sustainable future for all in Northern Ireland. In terms of Clanmill's delivery in the development programme over the last 4 years, I've set out for you here some of the statistics which you can read, but just to try to set it in context, in the last 4 years, since 2009, Clanmill has delivered 1,129 new homes in Northern Ireland at a total cost of £122 million. And we were able to do that with £75 million through Housing Association grant, and Clanmill borrowed £47 million to be able to sustain that high level of activity. But if we are going to respond to our Minister's challenge to do more, we have to look at what is stopping us from doing more and look at the challenges and how we may overcome those. And one of the big issues, Jenny referred to the article in the Belfast Telegraph, one of the big issues, we need a real game changer on access to land. We are in a downward property market and a difficult economic climate. It's a buyer's market, so why can we not get access to enough land to enable us to build the homes that are projected to meet the demand in Northern Ireland? There are a number of reasons, and I'm not going to offer you all the answers. I'm just going to pose questions and my own perspective. We can't access land for a number of reasons. There are issues with regard to land prices and vendors' expectations. As housing associations, we must pay market value on valuations assessed by either LPS or independent chartered surveyors. And we are in a climate whereby there's an expectation associations are trying to drive prices down, and we're trying to get land at the cheapest possible price. I don't believe that's true. We pay market value, and market value is what market value is. It may not be what somebody wants for their site. We also are trying to get access to land from the banks. And the banks publicly, and NAMA publicly, is saying they want to do business with us. Well, come on board. Give us access to your land. Because the difficulty is, for those of us who are engaging in direct discussions with you, we're not getting full access to the land. Now, on occasions, that is because some of that land is not at full receivership status, and therefore you're into a range of engagement with a number of partners, and that all takes time that those families who need a home don't have. We have to respond now. And yet there's a wealth of public sector land that is declared surplus as requirements. If our responsibility is to provide housing for those that need a home, why can we not get access to the strategic register that lists all public sector surplus sites and work collectively together to see how we can access and purchase that land to provide those homes? We have to square the circle somewhere. Another issue is the availability of finance. And it was great to have the session this morning to set it in context in terms of our borrowing capacity and the sector as a whole. But what is the existing borrowing commitment by existing associations? If you borrow more, what impact will that have on your loan covenants? And what is the risk appetite of individual associations? What are you prepared to borrow to do more? There are a number of other issues. These are not in any particular order. There are a number of other issues. There are issues associated with planning delays, getting information in right, perceptions. And it was great to hear the Minister for the Environment last night give the commitment to work strategically together to unblock where there are planning issues so that there are no time delays and planning applications for social and affordable housing are fast-tracked to enable us to deliver quicker. Regulation and inspection. If we consider the existing approach taken by the department, does it foster innovation or does it foster fear? If it's fear, are we creating an environment where we will respond to our Minister's challenge to do more? Why can't we have a mind shift, and why can't we have an attitude of what can we do to make that happen, as opposed to you can't do because? Why can't we move away from processes to outcomes? Because that's what matters. It matters the homes that we provide. The processes are important, but to those individuals who are waiting in our homes, they want the end product. Procurement. And procurement and procurement. I mean, I could stand here and I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face about procurement. But I'd like to just leave you with some thoughts on procurement. Currently, there are a limited number of procurement options available to us who want to deliver. Is that enough? Why do we need a Northern Ireland public procurement strategy when we have the legislative framework in the public contract regulations? We've talked about gold-plating procurement. Is it time to reflect on what we're asking in procurement? And again, it was interesting in some of the speakers, both yesterday and last night and this morning, where they've talked about procurement is about the individual association assessing its own risk and as the contracting authority being allowed to progress and manage that risk. Why can that not be permitted to enable us to respond now, because now is our time? We also have issues in the scheme approval process. Again, in talking to my other colleagues, some of these, we're getting the things that are delaying deliverability of programmes around inclusion of complex needs applicants' dwellings at a late stage in the process, causing more delays and not being able to deliver and respond promptly. Are there duplicate approval processes when a scheme is of a certain value? Why does it need to go through 3 and 4 routes? Why can one approval process not be adequate? And if that one approval process needs to be enhanced to make it adequate, let's look at that. Community consultation. There's an increasing resistance to social housing per se throughout Northern Ireland. and it can be resource intensive. And certainly there's a view from our political representatives that housing associations are not as good at this as they should be. So how do we respond to our Minister's call? And it is something, again, and I'm pleased that the department has already taken note of and is doing some work on to look at their expectations in housing associations and how to undertake community consultation. It's not that we don't want to consult. We do. We want to consult to ensure that the solution that we provide is what that community needs. But it's not in a way that we shouldn't be permitted to provide social and affordable solutions in areas where there is demand for those that need a home. And I suppose, what can we do? And what are we within Clanmill doing to try to unblock some of those challenges? We're engaging proactively with the banks and NAMA. We'd like them to do more. We're looking at other procurement options, and I was delighted to hear Michael's can-do attitude this morning. But why do we, he's talked about pilot design and builds. Why do they have to be pilot? If we've agreed a framework, why can that not be offered and allow those of us who want to do it progress with it? There's other issues in procurement like joint ventures that could deliver on the big housing-led regenerations that we're going to talk about. We're promoting partnership approach with our civic leaders. What can we do strategically, working together to deliver social and affordable housing on the ground? We need to target and focus our resources to identify those areas of high housing need. We want a robust risk appraisal and scheme investment model. We're not careless, but we're not risk averse either. And we need to take a balanced approach to risk. And some of the things that, again, within Clanmill we're doing is we're land banking. Our board has made a commitment to make money available to land bank, to buy sites now so that we can deliver for the future. We also have created a subsidiary company and it's a construction vehicle to manage costs better and achieve tax efficiencies. We want to engage early with all those strategic stakeholders to get us that access to public land. We need all of us need effective financial and treasury management planning. We also need to think about looking outside the box and engaging others, for example, like planning consultants, to help us unblock the blockages at the time with which we need it, not when it's got so far down the line. Engaging early enough to help us unblock and deliver. And again, focus on our market demand testing. And again, Pierce talked this morning about some of those areas of low demand. But there are other demands in those areas. And how can we test what that demand is and how are we best placed to respond to it? Our Minister has set out his 5 themes in the housing strategy. And some of the initiatives, again, that we are doing, and as are others, and maybe just to offer you some thoughts on the type of things that we could do to deliver on those initiatives in the housing strategy. Theme 1, ensuring access to decent, affordable and sustainable homes. Let's not do the minimum design standards. Let's think about our environment. Let's think about our energy efficiency. Let's think about reducing fuel poverty. Let's look at mixed tenure, genuine mixed tenure. Social, affordable, full market sale. But not just residential. Why not do the added value? Why not do commercial uses, community uses, creche, coffees? Why not to support the community that's going to live, create a home, raise their family, and make a positive contribution to society? Let's look at a range of procurement vehicles that will enable us to do that. In terms of meeting housing needs and supporting the most vulnerable, let's do our targeted demand testing so that we are providing the best range of housing solutions. Let's look at what more we can do on community development so that we can provide services that matter and it's not just to be perceived about bricks and mortar. Housing and welfare reform, well, I think that's been talked quite extensively over the last 2 days. Theme 4, driving regeneration and sustainable communities through housing. And again, we're going to talk about housing-led regeneration schemes, and Fraser's going to give you some practical examples. And some of the small housing regeneration-led schemes we've done to date, a small scheme at Spring Farm in Antrim, and we're also under construction of a scheme at Lower Old Park in North Belfast. And a key aspiration of us, not yet realised, is a housing-led regeneration at the Hildon Mill site in Lisburn, with significant development challenges. and the easy thing would be to walk away. But we're still there, and we hope we can turn that into reality. And the final theme in the strategy is getting the structures right. And that is about good governance, but not over-governance, and is about regulation. And it's pleasing that our Minister yesterday also announced the establishment of the working group to look at regulation and have a report back to us by December, because we do need a shift in the mindset, and it has to be a can-do attitude. What is it we need to do working together to make this happen for the communities we are here to serve? In terms of housing-led regeneration, just my own comments, our Minister in August of this year announced his strategic vision for housing-led regeneration. His vision, and Michael referred to, is to take a more strategic approach to housing in Northern Ireland. Housing-led regeneration is good practice elsewhere, and it is one of the key areas in which I think we can make a real difference to the lives of some of our most disadvantaged communities. The aim, as I see it, of housing-led regeneration is to reverse the process of decline by increasing market confidence, stimulating private sector investment, and sustaining our existing communities through economic regeneration. It has the potential to improve and support financial inclusion, the health and well-being of our communities, provide employment and training opportunities, not just through the construction, but after, because of the range of commercial uses we've left behind other than the bricks and mortars of the houses. We have an opportunity to bring empty homes back into use. We have an opportunity to create social enterprises that can plough those profits back into that local community. We can engage with our local communities. We can protect our important and our historical assets for future generations. We also have the potential to integrate with the local supply chain. And we also could tackle fuel poverty through high energy efficient buildings. But to do all of that, and it will never be delivered unless we have cross-departmental working to achieve successful regeneration. It straddles all aspects of our work, and it straddles all departments. And just to finish with I was asked to showcase some of the recent development schemes that Clanmill has done. You've seen this scheme in the video, Caffrey Hill and Glen Road in West Belfast. This is one of the housing-led regeneration schemes I talked about at Spring Farm in Antrim. A former MOD had been leased to the MOD from the Housing Executive, and we refurbished them and provided new homes in Antrim. And a development we bought off the shelf at the Curzon and Norma Road on South Belfast, a development of 61, but a mixed-use development because there's retail on the ground floor. But finally, now is our moment, because we can make a difference. We need to know how we can make it happen. And if we do, and if we're serious about that, we can provide great homes with services that matter. Thank you.